Did lose 2-1 to Astana, men against boys. And I just wanted to say straight away that, look, if United had won that 5-0, I still wouldn't be saying Jose, you know, Ollie's back and everything like that. It's just Manchester United are... That game today was never going to be a game that we went, ooh, that's changed our season. Ooh, Ollie's the man, or even Ollie out. That's never what today was about. But as the title says, not fit to wear the shirt. This is something I said at half time, and I've got to say that I did take from this game that I thought we could take from this game, and that is, yet again, I thought United started the first 20 minutes, that looked like United were going to win this game 8-0. That's how it looked to me. Astana came into it a little bit in the last 20 minutes of the first half, but second half you're thinking, let's just go again, let's get hold of the ball, let's be fast, let's be tenacious, and second half we are totally, apart from the last 10 minutes when we're chasing the game, just look absolutely knackered. These players are not fit to wear this shirt, and this is not the youth players. I haven't got a problem with any of the youth players today. We'll talk about Chong and everyone else in a moment. It's not about the youth players, it's about the whole of Manchester United Football Club. They're not fit. Like, every second half, apart from Sheffield United last week where we're 2-0 down and we're basically playing on adrenaline, we're not a 90-minute team. We cannot play for 90 minutes. The second half of so many games, we just drop off. We're not fit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said when he took over the club, I'm going to get them majorly fit in the summer. Even in June, I don't want them drinking the pina coladas. I want them to have their own fitness plans. They were all bloody tops off in Dubai and all this in mid-June. We come back, we go on the Asia tour, and all season I've been waiting for us to show this tenacity, this high press. And we do it, but we only do it for half a game. We cannot play for 90 minutes. And it's been shown again today. And they're young players, so it's not even the same set of players. But every United team is unable to play for 90 minutes. They're not fit enough to wear the shirt. And I know people think, oh, not fit enough to wear the shirt, that means they're crap. That's not what I mean. They're literally not fit enough to wear the shirt. There is a massive problem with Manchester United's fitness conditioning. And I don't know whether Ollie's anything to do with that or not, but the amount of injuries we're getting, but the inability to play second halves, whether it's a youth team playing like that or a Carabao Cup game or a Europa League or a Premier League, nobody can dispute that United as a team this season are not fit. They're not fit because the second half they drop off, and we're struggling because of that. We're unable to get the results that maybe our performances do deserve because in the second half we're dropping off so much. I thought in relation to this game, it doesn't matter. It's not, for me personally, it doesn't matter. I want to talk about Lingard and Shaw because they are senior players. But in relation to the young lads, whether it's Chong or Gomez or Greenwood or Levitt or whoever, it doesn't matter. That was the brilliance of this game today. It was we've already qualified game. Although AZ Alkmaar, we'll have to. I don't know whether we'll play the kids against AZ Alkmaar because they could finish top of the group, and we've that's not a free hit. AZ Alkmaar in a couple of weeks. We've got to win that game because we've got to finish top of the group. If we're not, the chances of getting the Champions League for us in the top four are slim. The chances of getting into the Champions League through the Europa League are there a far better chance. So we can't just say, oh, we're going to play the kids against AZ Alkmaar and finish second in the group. Because if you finish second in the group, you could play Inter, you could play Valencia. If you finish top in the group, you won't. So that game is almost like a cup game against AZ Alkmaar. We've got to take that seriously because you can't say, I want to win the Europa League, but then not try and finish top of your group. So that becomes very important now. Today, I agree. Just play the kids, keep everybody back for the next 3 games, which is what this season's all about now. But yeah, I'm not going to be very critical. And actually, you know what? On a positive, I felt sorry for Deshaun Bernard. You know, those things happened. He nearly scored another own goal as well. It's just one of those things. It's massively unlucky. And I hope that the players and the manager around him will just say, look, you actually had a good game. You were just unlucky on the own goal. I thought he was good as Twansibi, so we'll do the player ratings in a minute. But my man of the match was Dylan Levitt. I thought he was stood out. He absolutely stood out because in that first half we had control of the game, and you've got Garner and Levitt as the midfield. And you know, this is a young lad who's never played for United before. It's his debut. He was playing against the team that I still actually think is probably the equivalent of a League Two side away from home. He was my man of the match. So smash a like on the video if Dylan Levitt was your man of the match. I thought he was superb. Really, really, really did. So yeah, I thought he was really, really good. I'm not mad. I'm looking at the live comments and we'll go through it in a minute. People are saying bang average youth. Don't come at me saying United's youth's terrible. Chelsea's youth is really good, but Reece James, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Tamore, they were all on loan in the Championship last year. How many of our youth players have been on loan anywhere? None of them. None of them been on loan. And you know what? At 1-0, Luke Shaw should have got his second assist. Chong misses an open goal. It's an atrocious miss. What a Pratt miss. It's awful. Absolutely awful. But for everybody going on at Chong, I still believe that there is a player there in Chong. And everyone going on at Chong, what did Gomez do? What did Gomez do in that game that was any better than Chong? I thought he had a similar game. Apart from the free kick, I didn't think Gomez was any better than Chong. I really didn't. But Chong gets all the hate again, like he did a few weeks ago. I'll tell you what the problem is with Chong and Gomez, and I said it in the summer, they should both be on bloody loan. Like, why are they at the club? And Ollie has put the pressure onto these players, because what did Ollie say in the summer on tour? He said these young players are ready, and he was referring to Gomez, Chong and Greenwood. And Greenwood isn't actually quite ready, but he's the best of the three. Gomez and Chong are not ready. So Ollie's put the pressure onto these players, into your heads, because the way that people are treating Tahith Chong is wrong. And that rhymes, but it is wrong. Like, they're going in on him like he should be coming in and performing like Dan James, or coming in and performing like Ronaldo did at that age. Like, it's a totally unrealistic expectation for a player who's been very good in our youth setup, but clearly isn't ready for the first team. And the reason that I think that they're getting this pressure is because Ollie, inadvisedly, said in the summer, we won't miss Sanchez and Lukaku because we've got these young lads who are ready. And they're not ready. Gomez and Chong are not ready. I hoped they were ready, but they're not. What they need to do is go on a bloody loan. They should be on loan. Chong should be in the Championship playing for bloody Charlton or Luton or something like that. So should Gomez. Send them off on loan, and if they fail, we already know they're not good enough. But how is it helping their development to play them for an hour every now and again in a game that doesn't matter? They need to be playing first team football, otherwise we're wasting our youth. So everybody who talks about these Chelsea youth players, most of them have been on loan in the Championship for a year before they step up to the Premier League. We've got youth players that we're trying to chuck in every now and again and expect them to swim. They're not. It's not going to happen. They need to go on loan. So I hope Chong signs a new contract at United. I'm worried that he will go somewhere else. They'll develop him properly, and in 2 or 3 years' time, we'll be going, we've lost another good player there. He needs to go on loan. And I think Gomez does as well, because they're not ready for the first team. And they're never going to be ready for the first team until they're playing first team football elsewhere. How do you get Gomez and Chong better than how they are at the moment? They need to consistently play football, but we can't take a risk on them. We haven't got a first team good enough to give them regular first team time. So, you look at United when we bled the class of 92 in, we had such a great team, you could afford to play Beckham every now and again when he was a kid and Scholes. We can't afford to play an average Chong or an average Gomez at the moment so that they can become better and better, because the first team's not good enough. They need to be on loan. That's what needs to happen with them. So yeah, I don't get the criticism there, to be honest with you. But I thought Dylan Levitt was absolutely brilliant. So please do smash a like on the video if you agree with that. Lingard and Shaw, before I do the player ratings, and I will be reading out all your super chats, so don't worry about that. But the Lingard and Shaw thing, I thought Jesse Lingard's goal was good. I also thought that, and I'll be doing the player ratings in a minute, when you are Jesse Lingard and you are 27, and that team is full of teenagers, and you're playing in the number 10 role against the glorified pub team, I expect more. I expect a lot more. I'm not going to judge Jesse Lingard on the teenagers. He is a former England player who, over the last 8 months, is getting worse and worse and worse. He's been dropped by England. He scored a good goal early on, and then after that, his game just got worse and worse. He kept shooting over the bar. He only dribbles when there's 10 yards in front of him. He doesn't dribble if there's a player in front of him. He doesn't have the ability to create anything with a pass. And he's just not physical enough. And I think he got very frustrated in the last 10 minutes. And I actually quite liked his performance in the last 10 minutes because he was getting aggressive. But he ain't got the physicality for it either. I thought Lingard today was just... I'm going to struggle to give him any higher than a 5. Probably an average 6. I expect more. You're the captain of the club. You're the senior outfield player. I expect more. And I don't think... What I would say about Lingard is he should have been the best outfield player. He's 27. He's paid a lot of money. He's got a lot of experience. He's the captain of the club. he should be the best player on the pitch. And I don't think he was anywhere near that. So for me, I judge Lingard on a much higher level than I'm going to judge these young players. As for Luke Shaw, again, not a great performance. He should have had 2 assists in a bad performance. I like Luke Shaw, but it wasn't a great performance. You could say, where was he on the second goal? Because it came down his side. The only mitigating thing for Luke Shaw is that one, I think over the last year he's actually been decent for us when he's fit. There is a question mark about his injury record, and I agree with that. He hasn't been voted Player of the Month 2 or 3 times in the last 12 months for no reason. And I think the performance from Luke Shaw today looked like a player who hasn't played for 3 months, and it was the perfect game to play him. I expected a rusty off Luke Shaw, and we got a rusty off Luke Shaw. He doesn't look fit because he's been out for 3 months. So I can forgive him a bit of a bad performance today because he has been out injured for a long time. And this is what I was saying in the game. With regards to Pogba and McTominay, people are saying, we desperately need them back for the Manchester derby. You're dropping them into the game probably like you're dropping Luke Shaw in today. Do you want to drop a rusty Paul Pogba in who's not played for 3 months, or a McTominay that's not played for a month? They're not going to be that prime player because they've been out for a long time, and that is something to bear in mind. Anyway, let's do the player ratings because I know a lot of people get interested about this. Grant, I'd give him a 6. Nothing more than that. Ethan Laird, look, 7. I probably will be Ethan Laird. Sorry, I will be probably generous with some of these young players because it is their first game. Laird didn't put a foot wrong. He's a young lad for the future. I thought he did well. Twansibi, I give him a 7. I think, you know what, he's got a very young lad next to him. He's still inexperienced himself, although, here we go, Twansibi did spend a season on loan in the Championship last year, and I think he's better for it. And I think he played quite a senior role for a young player, so I'd give Twansibi a 7. Bernard, I'd give him a 6. Look, I thought he did very well. He did nearly score a couple of own goals, but I think a 6 for a young player making their debut in a game like that is a good score. Luke Shaw, I'd give him a 5. I don't think he had a great game, even though he had 2 assists. But I would give that off. I would let him off on that personally because I think that, you know, he's been out for 3 months. I know the Luke Shaw haters will just absolutely pan him, but haters are going to hate, aren't they? You know, there's some players I don't like. So, you know, I like Luke Shaw. I think he looked like a player that's been out for 3 months, but the 90 minutes will have done him good. And Brandon Williams will be playing against Villa. So, you know, happy days, no problems with that. Garner, I'll give a 7. Look, I find it difficult to criticise the players in the second half when every player dropped off in the second half. As I said, it's the same with the first team. It was the same with the youth. They're not fit to wear the shirts. Like, not because they're crap. They're not fit. Like, physically, they're not fit enough. They're not fit enough to play the intense football they play in the first half in the second half. And we see it with the first team, and we saw it again tonight. It was chalk and cheese. It was total contrast. And we've seen it so many times with Ollie. We wonder what happens in the dressing room. Like, do they even get told tactics? It's nothing to do with that. They're just tired in the second half. This team is not fit enough throughout the whole team. So Garner dropped off in the second half, but so many players did. I thought in the first half, he moved the ball about. It's interesting that somebody was saying on the watch along, do you think Nicky Butt had an impact on the way we played? Because actually, we did more. You know, like we normally play a 4-2-3-1. In this game, Garner sat a lot. Levitt was more box-to-box. And Lingard was a bit box-to-box. It was the closest we've played this season to what we played in the first 3 months under Ollie, where we had Matic sitting, Herrera dropped box-to-box, and Pogba box-to-box with a bit more attacking licence. We saw that at times today with Garner sitting, Levitt box-to-box, and Lingard box-to-box. So, you know, I don't know why Ollie did that and doesn't do that for the first team, but I quite liked that, and it caused Astana more problems. So yeah, I thought Garner played quite well. He fell off in the second half physically, but who didn't? So I'd give him a 7. For me, man of the match was Levitt. Remember, this is a Manchester United debutant, and I think out of the 3 debutants, he was definitely the best. And for me, he was the best player on the pitch. And for somebody who, you know, he's been called up to the Wales national squad. He's small. He is small, but that doesn't stop people like Verratti, and I don't think it's going to stop him. Again, I think a player for me who needs to go on loan. He's getting called up for the Wales national squad. He's nowhere near the first team at the moment, and he's probably not ready for the first team of Manchester United. This is where United need to follow what Chelsea did do. Find Levitt a championship club. Find Chong a championship club. Find Gomez a championship club. Maybe find Laird a championship club. Get them out there playing competitive football. I don't know why we're not doing that as much as we used to. It's massively beneficial. And if we want these players, if we want our future to be youth, this is where Woodward and Solskjaer are falling way short. They're talking about giving it time and they're talking about the youth. But I'm not convinced, because if you're going to play the youth, how are you developing the youth? We're not good enough as a first team to let these young players come in and grow. There's too much demand and expectation at United. You've got to put them out on loan, and we're not putting them out on loan. And that's what I would do with Levitt. I thought it was brilliant today. Gomez 6, Gomez and Chong, for me, I'm giving a 6, because I don't think you can split the performances. And I know people will say Chong should get a 2 or a 3. I actually thought Chong did as much as Gomez, apart from missing that chance. But they're senior youth players, and they desperately need to go on loan. I think they've sort of hit their ceiling for the moment until they start playing regular first-team men's football, and they're not going to get that at United. So with Gomez and Chong, I'm worried about their development. They need to be playing first-team men's football, and they're not going to get that at United, so they need to go out on loan. I thought they were average performances by both of those today, if I'm honest with you. Greenwood, I'm actually going to give Greenwood a 7. If you actually watch Greenwood, he's playing the number 9 role, which is difficult, against 2 physical men. He's only 17, 18, Greenwood. He nearly scored a couple of goals. On another day would have done. I thought it was one of those Anthony Martial type performances where people will say he was crap, but actually he was running the lines, he wanted the ball, he was getting in good positions. I thought Greenwood actually had a good game today without getting on the score sheet. So I was impressed with Greenwood, to be honest with you. And with Lingard, I'd give him a 5. Like Luke Shaw. I don't think you can split those two performances. I think for senior professionals you'd expect more, but Lingard hasn't been out for 3 months like Luke Shaw, but Lingard did get a goal. I just think from Jesse Lingard, the captain, the money he's on, the experience he's got, he's played in a World Cup semi-final, for God's sake. What's happened to him? He should be doing far more. It's FC Astana. It's Astana, and he's playing in the free number 10 role, basically. He should be doing a lot more. A player of his supposed quality should be doing a lot more. So for me, it was a 5 for Lingard. But looking around that team, you can't moan. I predicted it would be 2-1. I said Astana should beat us. They only lost 1-0 to us at Old Trafford when we had a far more experienced team. 9 of those players that played at Old Trafford played tonight for them. And they only beat us 2-1. And actually, if Chong scored that goal, 2-0 up in the second half, I think we would have won the game. So, and also in the first 20 minutes, I think we should have got more than 1 goal. So on a different day, United could have won that. I just think, yet again, they're not fit to wear the shirt because they're literally not fit. The second half is costing us in games. And, look at the first team. Wolves away, 1-0 up, and we end up drawing. Southampton away, 1-0 up, we end up drawing. So many games, we play well in the first half and we fall away in the second half. They're just not fit enough as a team. We've got so many injuries. Seppi Dog says, we started great, we're unlucky, judge Ollie versus Villa. Look, if people want to judge Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on tonight's performance, then that's up to them. I haven't got a problem with that. But for me, it was never about Ollie. I don't think if we'd won 10-0, I wouldn't have. It's Villa, it's Spurs, and it's Man City. Those 3 games are what it's all about. Our first team is sat at home with their feet up, rested for those 3 games. That's where the real work starts for Ollie. I don't think anything changes. I think it was a free hit game. It was a fantastic opportunity. I think there are positives from it. I think the result is irrelevant. And I think United, they just need to go. Paul Robinson says it's also tactical. It's not just fitness, which I would agree. But we've got to improve our fitness. I think we're nearly at Christmas now, which is basically halfway through the league. And game after game in the second half, no matter what game it is, whether it's Carabao Cup, reserves, whatever, we are struggling in the second half of games, and that's a problem, isn't it? That really is a problem. I'm going to take some of your comments. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody. We want a good coach, says Sadaki. I think 5 is too harsh for Lingard, says Maddie. Well, I don't. Well, actually, you're probably right. Give Lingard a 6 because he was average compared to what his normal performances are like. But I expected better. I expected better from him. The goal was good, but You know, he's playing a pub team. This is an England international. Against the pub team, Jesse Lingard should be looking at a hat-trick. Or absolutely running the game. And I think our expectations as fans has dropped so far that we want to be generous to somebody who is a senior pro and hasn't had a good game for us in about 8 months. We've got to look better than that. We've got to be demanding more than that. And at the moment, we're just not. We're not doing enough as a team, and I think we've got to do a hell of a lot more. Let's have a look what else people are saying. We're nearly at 1,000 likes, so please keep smashing the like button. Time to get a manager who motivates players, says Craig Cochrane. First 20 minutes was encouraging, then lapsed into negative mode. Can't blame the kids. I think a lot of it does come down to fitness. I agree with what Paul Robinson is saying, that, you know, it's tactical as well. I actually felt that the shape of the team, as I said, and I don't want to repeat myself, but I did feel that the shape of the team was different to what it has been. With, you know, Garner was sitting on his own a lot and Levitt was going forward box to box. As I said, all season you've had either Pogba and McTominay or Pogba and Matic or McTominay and Fred just sat there as a pair. Today we didn't have two sitting. We did in the first half a little bit, but in the second half it was more of what we were playing. But the fitness just isn't there, and I think this exposes the mainstream media and the press that nobody ever talks about this. I think we talk about it a lot on this channel, and we're all sat watching the games together. We talk about it a lot on this channel, and it's the most obvious thing. I wouldn't even want to pat on the back tactically for saying this, but we are not fit enough. The team is not fit enough. It's never been fit enough this season. I don't know. I think we are very energetic, and I think when you look at the stats, United do quite well in relation to the pressing stats. But in the second half, it falls off the cliff because they're all so knackered. They're just not fit enough. And that's why, I think for a long time at the start of the season, we were like, why are we performing so badly in the second half? And it really is. A lot of things in football are very simple. We perform badly in the second half because we're tired. We just haven't got that fitness. And there's a lot of rumours anyway, which I've mentioned before. There's a lot of rumours coming out of Manchester United that the fitness setup is crap. Like the fitness coaching is crap. They've changed it and the people doing it are crap. That's a rumour coming out of United. Whether it's true or not, well, the evidence is there. I don't know whether it's true. I don't know whether the players are unhappy with the coaching, but I'm not talking about tactical coaching. I'm talking about the fitness conditioning. We started great. We're unlucky, says Seppi Dog. We've done that. Zayn Miassi says, Mark, I bet Lingard earns more than the whole of Astana. Yeah, he will do. Bomac Carla says, congratulations to Lingard on his United debut. What a prodigy, but he needs 10 more years to develop. Karen Took the Kid says, Ollie is not up to it. He's not a legend either. Bench player who scored a tap in. He wouldn't have made a top 50 United players list. Oh, come on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably, well, actually, all-time top 50 list. Yeah, maybe you might be right, but I think Solskjaer might just be in a top 50. But he's a legend. Come on, he came off the bench and scored the winner in a Champions League final to win the treble. You got to get legend status for that. And he was a brilliant player, Solskjaer. I won't have that taken away from him. White Owl says Lingard's goal took a massive deflection. I didn't know. Well, there you go. So he scored a deflection as well. Oscar Fenson says Tommy Abraham is 22. He's 4 years older than most of the team today. Kayo Boo says, Mark, remember when you said Pereira was a future Ballon d'Or winner? Man United fans overrate their youth, in my honest opinion. Yeah, but, that sounds stupid now. That does sound stupid now. I'll take the L. But I did see something in Pereira. But what Pereira did is he wasted his loans. The loans that he went on, the first one was quite a good loan, but the Valencia one was silly, and then he lost another year. Chong, sitter missed, and keeper made 2 great saves, says Joe Holdway. It could have been a different result on a different day. This was a write-off. Drop-off was inevitable with young guys. Very impressed overall. Gomez is a big spark. If Romero played, we'd have won. Grant out, says Josh Sutton. David DeVille says, happy Thanksgiving from Greenville, USA. Yep, happy Thanksgiving to all our Americans. Don Ragnar says, nothing special about the majority of our youth, says Don Ragnar. Yeah, who me on the way home from work? Wow, shocking. Glad I didn't take the afternoon off. And Rian Vega says, player management is horrible. Shaw played for way too long. And yeah, there was going to be a drop-off with people like Shaw, who's not played for 3 months. Gomez is a first team sub level, says Neo Heckerman. Size doesn't matter. And so look, let's come back to your live comments and have a look at what everyone's saying. But the week ahead is massive, isn't it? I think you don't take anything from that game in relation to what's to come on Sunday, because there'll be a totally different team. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to say what we've all been saying, really, that with regards to the game, it's a free hit. He'll be proud with some of the young players. He'll say, on another day we could have won it. If Chongi scores, we win the game, etc., etc. The same old stuff. But I want to come out of Manchester United games and always take something from it. And for me, I think the bigger picture is the lack of fitness at the club. It's ridiculous. It really is. And we should not be in a situation where every second half we're dropping off. And it's like the commenter said there, well, I expected it with young players dropping off. But I think that's too big an excuse to make, because I think I even said it at half time. It'll be interesting in the second half because these are young players and they will get tired in the second half. And yeah, you can use that as an excuse, but you could also say, well, the whole team drops off, whether it's first team or young players or not. Our fitness conditioning is not up to it. And when you add into that all the injuries we get, there's a huge problem with Manchester United's fitness conditioning. All the injuries we're getting so many muscle injuries. We're not able to play the second half. I mean, going back to what I was saying, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he first came into the club, hid behind the very true fact, that the players were not fit enough for his style of football. And what a good game, Wolves versus Braga. They've scored, and now Wolves have just scored. Lovely cross. Nuno's very happy. So Ole made this big thing about this team isn't fit enough. That's why we dropped off in March. Ole, if you read between the lines, after that first 3 months, Ole said we dropped off because they weren't fit enough. Then he was like, next season we'll be a lot fitter than this. Then we came back, we went on tour, we absolutely beasted the players, we were going to be really fit. And then all season we've not been fit enough, but we've picked up more and more muscle injuries. And I think what's happened this season is we absolutely beasted our players in pre-season. We've, probably more fitness work than they've ever done. But the downside is I think we've exhausted them. And that's why so many players are picking up muscle injuries, because they were overworked in the summer to try and get them fit. And I think they've been worked so hard that they actually don't have the energy levels to play 90 minutes in the Premier League. So that's the fitness conditioning. I mean, that's not necessarily Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's not a fitness specialist. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would say to his fitness conditioning people, I want these players to be able to play high intensity pressing football for 90 minutes. That's what I would do as a manager. I wouldn't be the one saying, I've been reading about this, you've got to do this, this and the other. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would say, I want these players to be able to play high intensity, high press football for 90 minutes. The fitness conditioning have failed that. They've failed that. There's so many muscle injuries, like I say, and we're so bad in the second half. And I think it's something that needs addressing. We're not fit enough. Not fit enough to wear the shirt. People keep saying Shaw played bad. He got an assist and would have got another if Chong would have scored. He's done okay for 3 months out. I agree with you, Mr. Assassin, but agendas are agendas. To be honest, I'm never going to say Matic is any good. Give him time, give him time. We'll be down to 19th in no time, says Gage Relton. How is United getting smashed by Astana, says Yazza H. I think there is an element of people who are coming onto the chat today expecting United fans to be ranting and depressed. Do they not realise that was Manchester United's youth side with Jesse Lingard and Luke Shaw against Astana's first team? Astana would be the equivalent of a Salford in League 2. If you sent United's youth team to play Salford at Salford on Saturday, they'd probably lose. I predicted we would lose 2-1. I expected us to lose. I'm not angry that we've lost. It's a youth United side. There is no headline United losing Astana. There is no shock banter United they lost to Astana. We expected it. It was our youth team. It wasn't even our reserve team. It was our youth team. We absolutely expected to lose, a lot of us. There is no shame in it. It's not really Manchester United that played today. It was an opportunity and some players grabbed it. Some did okay. Some need to go on loan. And for me, that's what I would take from this. When you look at what Chelsea have done with theirs, Manchester United 20 years ago could probably get Greenwood, Williams, Garner and Gomez and say, you're going to be on the bench. We're going to play you about 10 games this season. Don't worry. We'll play you in games like Norwich at home because you've got Keane, Cantona, Bruce, Schmeichel, Irwin, players like that to nurture you and look after you. We don't have any leaders in our first team to allow Gomez to come into the team and play with freedom and without fear. These players can be good enough for United, but they're not going to get the first team games to develop. They've got to go on loan. Gomez, Chong, even Lard now. They've got to go on loan. Otherwise, they won't make it. Too many United fans judge these players when they play in the first team and have a bad hour. They're like, oh, they're never going to be good enough. If Tammy Abraham had been playing for Chelsea when he was 17, 18, 19, like some of these lads are, Chelsea fans would have said, who's that? Why is he playing? Same with Mason Mount, same with Tomori, and they would have been crap. They've gone off to the Championship, they've grown up, they've played in a competitive league week in, week out, and then they've come back and shown what they're all about. United have got to do that. We've got to stop judging our young players on cameos in first team games when they need to play regularly. And we can't give them regular football because our first team is panicking and struggling itself. They've got to go on loan. Gomez and Chong, I said it in the summer, they should have gone on loan. But Ollie said they're ready, and they're not ready. They've got to go on loan. And that's what I'm learning as well. We've got to get these young lads out on loan. Simple as that. Tom Oslo says, Mark, you don't get it. AZ Alkmaar beat them 6-0, but we didn't play. I mean, are people struggling with this? I don't care if Man City beat FC Astana 20-0. We didn't play our first team. Our first team, our youth could have been 3-0 up after 20 minutes. Our youth team could have been 3-0 up against Astana in the first 20 minutes. We lost 2-1, but it was our youth team. There's nothing about that side that's got anything to do with the first team. Luke Shaw and Twan Sebi are the only ones that may be getting the first team when they're fit. Lingard's not a first teamer. Grant's the third choice goalkeeper. The rest of them are kids. There is absolutely no shame or banter levels for Manchester United youth losing to Astana 2-1. None. You cannot compare it to AZ Alkmaar beating them 6-0. Nothing. What I would say is United have got to put a decent team out at Old Trafford against AZ Alkmaar, because if we don't, we'll finish second in the group. And if we want to win the Europa League, we need to get ourselves an easier draw in the next round. If we finish second in the group, we'll get a tough draw. So he's got to take that seriously against AZ Alkmaar, and we've got to win that game, definitely. Anyway, we've got fan cams and stuff coming in for you, and obviously tomorrow we'll be moving on to the Villa game and a massive week ahead for Manchester United. Thanks everybody. Please do smash a like on the video. You're all absolutely fantastic. Really novelty game today. Novelty game, 4 o'clock kickoff in the UK. I've enjoyed it. Thanks everyone on the watch along. Really enjoyed it, spending it with you and the chats that we've had as per usual. I'm going to go and have a rest. My throat's killing me now. But really, really enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe into the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. We have got some content coming up from Astana as well. I'll be back tomorrow with previews and press conference reactions from Ollie. So yeah, smash the like on the video. Let's see, we're nearly at 2,000 likes. So if everyone hits the like button now, we'll probably do it. Subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. And look, it's all about Villa, Spurs and City, and I'm massively excited. I think we're going to beat Villa, I think we're going to draw with Spurs, and I think we're going to lose to City. But maybe we can do better than that. You know, maybe we can do better than that. Exciting times to come. For me, today was just, it was like Thanksgiving. It was just a day to enjoy with the young players playing with no pressure, where the result didn't matter. And we did learn a few things. The negatives are we're just not fit enough as a team. That's why we're failing in the second halves. And I think with these young players, I see a lot of potential, but a lot of them need to go out on loan like Chelsea did, because they're not going to get the development in our first team because the first team is struggling. You can't put young players into that. Kush says, Mark, don't you think 5 is a bit harsh on Lingard? He got a goal too. I'd give him at least a 6. At least a 6? What game are you watching, mate? His goal was deflected. He is a captain. He is the senior player playing against the pub team, and he did next to bloody nothing. Like, he should have been 8 or 9 out of 10 running that game. I will give Shaw and Lingard a 5 because I don't think they played well. And they're senior players. Everybody else, free ride, young players. But those two, I expect a little bit more. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's harsh. If you want to give him, if you want to judge Lingard like a 17-year-old, you give him a 7. That's absolutely fine. But I judge Shaw and Lingard as senior pros, and I didn't think they played that well. But Shaw has been out for 3 months. Speak to you all soon. Thanks everyone for watching.